Alright, so in the last video, we went over a few of the beginning steps to setting up your website, and as you can see, we're still in this. So we're going to go back to pages. Now, here we're going to start talking about the tools. The main things that you want are going to be your text tools, which actually we want to go over here, which are your title and text. And we're going to go over how to manipulate the text in both titles and text. We're going to go over how to handle pictures in various formats. So single pictures, galleries, and there's another that's called the slideshow, which I showed you in a previous video as well. We're going to show you the different options you have with them, how to put them into your website. Then we're going to show you how to put files in and why I hate the file thing on this, but I'll also explain why it's necessary. And then we're going to deal with the contact box and what all it can do. And finally, we're going to take a look at these three items right here, which they call structure. It's organizational. It's how to organize everything so that when you move something, or you want certain things put together, or you want space in between things, stuff like that, or you want a pretty line in between things to show that, these two things are different things and I don't want you to think that they're the same. We'll go through all of those different things in this video. We're going to start with the text box. This is a text box. It's where you put words. Now, if you see up here, as soon as you click inside of this, you get these options right up here. Now, the only two options that are available here, but not in your titles, I want you to notice that, are these two right here. These two are your list items. So let's go ahead and we'll show you the list first. We'll just do it that way. Okay, so we're going to highlight these, and then we're going to show you a bulleted list. Easy. Numbered list. It really is that simple. And then if you decide that you don't want to do that, you just click it again. Now, if you have it as bulleted list, if you click on the numbered list, it's going to number it. Then you want to click on the whichever one it's highlighted as. If you have, now another thing is this right here, bold. It bolds it. That doesn't do anything because you don't have anything highlighted for it to actually take effect on. So you would want to highlight this again if you don't want it to be bold anymore. Then we'll go ahead and highlight it again. We get italicized, and then it slants it basically. Go ahead and highlight it again, unitalicized and underline, and it underlines it, but you can't really tell very well because unfortunately this isn't that fake Latin crap that they like to put into things. So we'll go ahead and do this part here and show you the underline because it works better. See, it has a little line underneath it. Go ahead and undo both of those. And ta-da! No italicization, no italicizing or italicization, whichever, I'm not sure which is correct. No bolding, no underlining. This one here, notice it's not doing anything. Now there's that one. That is because we don't have anything highlighted. Again, bigger. That's as big as it gets. Then smaller, and that's as small as it gets. I think that's about right. Now this one here is the font color. Put them side by side and you can choose. Now, if you're doing colored fonts, you want to go with the colors that you chose. Now remember, I chose black, maroon, and that kind of silvery color. So that would be this, the maroon. And go ahead and there we go. Now you can see that color there is that maroon. We'll go ahead and take this one and we'll do the silver. You see how light that is. And that almost matches that silver on the computer screen or the computer itself. And this red here is that maroon that's in that cup. You can change the colors. You can make things into links. So we'll go with www. We'll go with Google. Because my tongue does not want to work properly today. You want it to open in a new window because you don't want people to have to go and, hit their back buttons or whatever. And that's it. Ta-da! Now we've got Google. We want to put a space in between those two. This changes where it's going to be aligned at. So if it's aligned left, it's all the way over here. If it's aligned center, it's centered in the middle. If it's aligned to the right, it's going to line up over here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight those. That's left aligned. That's the normal position for things. Center aligned. See that? Right aligned. And notice the bullet points don't move. And justified. This, most of the time, it's going to pretty much look like center alignment. Or not center alignment, but justified is mostly going to look like this. But if you see how you've got where the highlighting is, you've got these gaps here. But then if you justify the alignment, it spreads it out a little bit. It spreads out full lines. If you've seen in most books, that's justified alignment where every line is the same length, even if it should be normally shorter. This will remove all formatting, so that's no longer okay. Well, if you want to remove a link, you have to undo that the right way. By going down here, you can go to the link, you can change the link, and you can remove the link. But all the other formatting, the size changes, any bolding, italicization, underlining, anything like that that you've put in, will all of it erased, except if you want to do this, undo, and then you have all of it back. And that's the basics of the text formatting. Now, like I said, with the titles, you have all the same options except for the list options. Now, we're going to move on to the pictures. Oh, such pretty pictures. I know I'm weird. Don't worry about me. This is a gallery, and I don't want to show you that first. I want to show you this first. Okay, so this is a single image. Now, I'll show you here. We'll go down here. Adding everything. You want a title. So you want to do something new with it. There's your title. Ta-da. And then you just write in whatever your title is. Here's your text. Same thing. Only it's a little bit smaller. See? You want to add a new image. And like I said, watch for where those lines are because that's where that's going to land. Now this one does this, and it gives you the upload image, and then you can upload a photo from your computer. You can search for an image in there. So let's go with computer. And it's so stupid that these images... like that. That's not a computer. I think that's supposed to be a number key. Maybe some kind of chip. I think it's some kind of chip. So maybe that makes sense. It's a computer. It's something that looks like it's computerized. A mouse, a computer. Part of a computer. You don't want to know. But like a jet or a spaceship of some kind, I think, is what that looks like. I'm guessing that's a wax image. But lower down here, there were some images, and it's like right here. Okay, you see computers in the background, but this is actually about the dudes talking. There's no computer there. This right here, where is there a computer there? So be kind of careful. I mean, be as specific as you can. Um, you probably want to go with one or two words. Oh, this one here. I don't even know what that is. I really don't. It looks like somebody painted a forest or something. Um, oh, that's horrifying for me. But anyway, um, that's kind of cool looking. I will admit that, and it is part of a computer. But you just kind of want to be a little bit more careful with the images on here when you do an image search. Um, but let's go with this one. You can upload them from your computer. You just have to find the right image that you want. I would suggest when you're doing images, uploading images, you want to make sure that your images are all in the same folder. And you want to make sure that everything, like all the text and stuff that you're going to put in, all in the same folder. And the reason for that is you want everything together so that when you go to edit your site, you have everything all there and you don't have to hunt for the right certification in a folder that's buried in your computer somewhere, and then have to go to 20 other different folders for everything else. Even if you have them sorted into separate folders, put all those folders into the same folder, same main folder anyway. But I mean, it's as simple as drag and drop. Now we'll go up here. Well, we can edit this image. You can edit the image. You can replace the image, so you can go back and pick a different picture. Lightbox, I'm not sure what that does. I still can't remember what that does. Well, I just wouldn't use it anyway. The link, you can make it your image into a link. If you do that, you need a caption to tell people, hey, click on the image above to go to whatever. You can align it left, center, right. You can add spacing. And this is really interesting because, oops, wrong way. See that? It just adds a cushion there. And it does the same on the bottom, sides. Let's see. A caption. Picture computer. Now, the advanced options, one of the ones that I would suggest using, you probably don't want to worry about borders or border colors or anything like that, but this right here, alt text. Okay, I said guy, person. We'll go back and play person. Okay, alt text is not going to show up in your website unless the person viewing your website is in some way vision impaired or blind. The alt text is mainly for screen readers. And what a screen reader does is it reads your website. So it'll read all of this text and then it'll come to a picture and it'll kind of pause. And it'll maybe say something like there's an image here. Okay, that doesn't explain anything to the person who is at your website. So you may have a very important picture that you need people to see. For instance, if you have, let's say this right here is a picture of your, I'm trying to think, of your bachelor's degree. So I just randomly picked something. Bachelor's degree in accounting from WVU. We'll go with WVU. You would want to spell out the name of the school because the thing will attempt to go with Wavoo or whatever, however it wants to pronounce WVU. You could also go with something like that. And the screen reader will read this instead of just having dead air or just saying a picture. and then it'll continue on down to our personal chefs and blah blah blah, and it'll keep going down through, and everywhere it comes across a picture, it'll either say that it's a picture. It will not attempt to say what that image is without that alt text. That is the only thing that you really need to worry about. And this is helpful because, well, a lot more people are using things like that now for a lot of reasons. Not just the vision impaired either. Let me see. What else do we want to look at? But I mean, and that's pretty much all it is. You can edit the image, so we'll go ahead and do this. You can crop it, you can use filters on it, all these fun little filters. So you can kind of change the look of it a little bit. You can adjust the brightness, the saturation, which is amount of color, the contrast, which is the amount of dark versus light, basically, or white versus black. Now, brightness is light versus dark. So let's go ahead and I'll show you. Light, too much light, too much light. And, oh, we turn the lights off. Saturation is the amount of color. So you see how it brightens all of the colors. And then there's no color. Contrast kind of does the same thing as the light, but you notice it just brightens up the whites really much, way too much. And then this darkens out the whites. So you kind of want to be careful with those. Text, you can add text to a picture. So people cooking. Ta-da! Something like that may or may not be read by a. You can change the size, you can change the font, you can change the alignment, the foreground color, the background color. So this is a what they call an opaque background. You could change this to, let's go over here, and it'll change the amount of color in that. You see, no color behind it, and then it'll kind of do this. Ooh, cool looking. You change the foreground color. So let's say you want maybe a bit of purpley look. And we'll go ahead and here and we'll move this into lighter purples. There we go. The alignment, whether it's centered, right, left, justified, blah, blah, blah. The actual font itself. And these are, you only have 4 options. And it's Helvetica, Verdana, Times New Roman, and Impact. See the difference in between the 4 of them. Font size, lowest you can get, size 1, up to size 458, and you can barely see the P. There we go. People cooking. Alright. Like I said, I'm a little bit goofy. The focus, radial. And what this does is, you notice out here it's blurry, but it in the center it's clearer. You can move that focus around so that you center, say, on their faces. This gives you how much blur you're going to get. A lot to none. We don't want any. You can do linear, which blurs out the top and bottom. And we can go, or, it just kind of slices it, and you can go like that. I mean, you can do a lot of cool things with pictures. This is another thing I like about Weebly. You don't get as many for free editing options in practically anything. You get 5 free websites. You get a decent amount of storage space for files, pictures, stuff like that to go into your website. And you've got all these editing options that most of them don't have. And I'm just going to undo all that and I'm going to exit out. I did want to discard the changes because I really didn't want those changes in the first place, but you can do a lot of different things. Now, right down here, we have a resize image. Ooh, you can make it small. Ooh, you can make it big. And that's really about it for just plain images. Now, we have another thing, this. Each of the individual images you can edit just like just like we did with the one up there. But you can also make a few editing choices with galleries, which are right here. And again, it's just pop, drag and drop. You can edit the spacing, so how much at the top or bottom. So here and here, well, here and here, and no spacing. Again, you can put a caption. Now this caption is display the caption on hover and lightbox and full partials. We'll go ahead and go back here. Advanced, you can do image spacing, so how much space is between images. The border around the images, so it kind of looks like you have a frame around them. I don't like borders. The image ratio. Most images are done in either 1:1, which is a square, or 4:3, which is a rectangle. The 1:1 and 4:3, the 1 and the 4, the first one and the 4, first number is width, and then the second one is the length, the height. And what those are is this is the comparison. So for every 4 inches you add across, you're going to add 3 inches down. That's all that means. If you're doing square, for every inch you add across, you're adding an inch down. That's all. It's very simplistic. You can have none, and I'll show you. See how they're different sizes and shape, kind of shaped differently a little bit. If you want to do that way, it's okay. Most places aren't going to look at that and see it's too bad. Again, if you're into graphic design or anything like that, you want to go with similar ratios. And then you can link, caption, alt text, delete. That's the only real options you have for these images. You can make it into a link. You can add a caption. You can add alt text. Again, you really do want to do that. Or you can delete it. So let's delete that one because I don't like it. Not really. I have no clue. And the last image one I want to show you is slideshow. We're going to come down here. We're just going to go with a simple slideshow. You can change this stuff later. You can add any of that other stuff. With the slideshow, you have to pick photos that are uploaded from your computer. We'll go ahead and add some more, but as long as you're in here, and once you open it up, in fact, we'll exit out. We'll save this. Now, that's just going to give us that. It looks like a regular picture, but then when you go to here, it says slideshow up here, add and edit photos. You can add more photos. So we're going to add more photos. I'm going to put in a couple pictures of my munchkins. And yes, you can select more than one to put in all at once. Save that. Now it's going to run through a slideshow, and it's going to show you these. These are the buttons that are going to show when somebody goes to view your website. These buttons, it'll show them the play button, and it'll probably have a pause. It'll show these so that they can move back and forth through the things. So if they saw one and it moved by too quickly, they can go back to it. Then they have the different transition types, and if you wait just a moment, that just slides it on over. The mosaic kind of crumples it like that. Slice kind of does like the mosaic, and fold are kind of similar. So you see how slice did and then fold does almost exactly the same thing. I'm not even quite sure how they're different. But anyway, then you have navigation. You can show whether it can show your navigation. So this is where you can add those stuff that all that crap you saw on the sides and the top and bottom. Um, don't do that. It will show thumbnails. You can do double thumbnails, so a double row of them. Numbers. We're gonna have none, and they have to just kind of flip through it as you want them to. The location of it, you can have it top, bottom, left, or right. Da, 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 da. Spacing, again, it's going to add your top and bottom margins. Caption locations, this is where you're going to want to, if it's an image that doesn't speak for itself, basically, you're going to want to put something down there. So if you have a certification, how they can verify that certification. Stuff like that. Then you have advanced options, which have autoplay. You can turn it off so that they have to hit the play button in order for it to play through, or that they have to use the navigation buttons. Show controls, where you had the play option and the navigation options. Show controls shows those. If you don't have that, see, ta-da, they're back. And they're gone. And they're back. You want to show the controls and you want to have autoplay. If you have multiple slideshows on the same page, or slideshows and videos, stuff like that, autoplay off every time. And then they can choose to play it when they want to. The starting position, you can choose beginning or random. Most of the time, you're going to want beginning. The aspect ratio, you see this 4:3. That's that rectangular aspect. 3:2 and 16:9 are other rectangular options. For something like this, most of what you're going to be showing is going to be pictures. You're not going to be wanting to show square pictures, square images. Auto, and we'll go back. And then again, you can add and edit photos. And then again, just like with the gallery, the only options you have are add a link, make this into a link. You don't add a link. You're making this picture into a link. You can add your caption, you can add alt text, or you can delete the image. And it deletes it from there too. We'll save that. And that's pretty much it for images. Now, here's the thing about videos. And it kind of sucks. And I will probably do a video later on for those of you who don't know how to use. Most of you probably know how to use YouTube, but many of you may not know how to upload videos to YouTube. I will probably make a video for that later on. It will be in the extras, but oops, I forgot. Almost forgot. It's drag and drop. So you want a YouTube video. Now remember, I said that you wanted to have those you may want those 3 kinds of videos, and you may want other videos. It's as simple as drag and drop. And then your YouTube video URL. Again, you can do the positioning of it. You can do the spacing of it. The advanced options allow you to use the YouTube video ID in case you want to keep your video private, but you want people to be able to come to your website and view it. That puts it right there. So you have this YouTube video ID. You also have these sides. You can do small, medium, large, extra large, HD, and auto. So you have a lot of different options there too. I mean, it's not perfect. You're not going to have a lot of the options you would if you made your own website from scratch. But I can't even do that. Like, I can, but I can't. And it's just a lot easier to do it this way. Now, the final thing that I wanted to discuss with you is files. The only place you're going to really want files is right here, your resume. Because you're going to want your resume, your printed out, typed up, whatever resume, your text resume, maybe a graphic resume, but you're not going to want either of those in a file form. You're not going to want to put those in as a file form. And here's why. Let me go. Right here. That's why. That is what that is going to look like. It is going to look like that every time. It is not clean. It's tiny. And I mean, you can move it around. That is pretty much all you can do. You can upload the file. You can move its position to the left, to the right. You can upload the file, and with this option you can move it to other pages. You can copy it. That is it. That is all you can do with a file. You can't change this icon. You can't change the text here at all. Whatever the file name is, that's what goes there. This icon might show that it's a PDF file or a text file or something like that, but it's not going to let you change that icon. That is honestly my major contention, my major problem with this file thing. You can do script documents. I don't have script, so well, I mean, this would be almost a better way of doing it because you could download and share and stuff like that. So that might be a better way if you have script and you want to do it that way to share your resume. I've really never. You have the upload files are hosted publicly on script.com. Blah blah blah. And that might be a better way of doing your resume and certain other things. I may make another video about script if I do decide to use it. I've never used it before, so it's not something I'm familiar with. Flash, I'll go ahead and put this in here. You don't want Flash. You see that? There's a reason for that. Almost everything is getting rid of Flash. Adobe doesn't even use Flash anymore. It uses Animate, which is a different file format. And I mean, if you've been on a computer or anything lately, Chrome, Windows Edge, Firefox, and a couple others. The main ones, Safari, the main ones are getting rid of the Flash Player option soon. They've been trying to get rid of it for a while, but some people are being, I guess, stubborn about getting rid of it. I mean, that's pretty much it for that sort of thing. Those are the basic tools you're going to want. Now, there are two other things that I do want to go over with you. Your contact box is literally just a form. You can do form options, which you can enable a Google CAPTCHA, opt in, opt out, confirmation message, spacing, whether or not there's a button. You can do an email to whatever your email is. View entries will view whether or not visitors have filled out your form. And then you can say that now, over here, right over here, you have a bunch of things that you can drag and drop into there. Your short text box is like this. Your large text box is this. Option buttons, I'll show you. They're option buttons. I found out recently that you can only do 5 items in there. Drop down box. Ta-da. Go ahead and delete that. Check boxes, name, which is this right here, your email, your address, your physical address, and I'll show you right here. This will let them put their address in. Yes, I want to delete. Phone number. Remember when we were doing in the last video, we were doing the text options? This is what that was talking about. And then it gives you a couple of structure options. The basic options are title, text, image, and embed code. Embed code is not something that you're going to necessarily need. Even I don't need it because it doesn't do what you think it does. Let me see. And The last one I have is structure items. So these ones right here. We'll go back here. Let's go ahead and hopefully. Okay, so this will make a new section. So you can put it in between two other sections, and now you have a new section. You can do whatever you want with it. Go ahead and do that, and you've got a new section, a divider. We'll go ahead and save that. The divider does a dividing line right there, and the spacer just gives you a little bit of cushion between items. And that is pretty much it. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment or email me, or speak to your mentor, teacher, or whoever is having you do this. And I will probably be posting up some additional extra videos on other things, but these are the pretty much the three videos that you need to look at. And this ends this series, and I will see you in the next video, in the extras videos.